welcome back to the second part of our video. Obviously the one we put up the other day talking a little bit about the new building, how it's going to work. Now we're going to look at the most important bit, which is your first lesson back. When you come up the stairs, you'll notice there'll be hand sanitizing stations right at the bottom, so you'll be able to give your hands a quick go before you walk up the stairs. We advise you then please go to the toilet if you need to, because we're trying to ideally not go during our classes at the moment. When you see receptionists will be behind the plastic visors. Don't worry, it's just the same as any normal shop. And you'll also be already on our track and trace system as it is. Once you book in, your name gets put down onto a register. The register then is behind reception, so we tick it off so you won't have to touch a pen or fill anything else in when you're down there. On that note though guys, there will be a 2-strike rule, which basically means if you book into 2 classes and you do a no-show, we will freeze your membership until we're back up to running normally. This is because we're just over demanded for our classes at the moment, which is awesome news, but also on the same note want to make sure that we are utilising when we're open the best we can. So what we're going to do now is move on to our actual training area. You've just come up the stairs, you'd be waiting exactly where you would be standing now, facing our main training area. There'll be an instructor beside you who will then guide you where to go. First thing you'll notice that each area is marked 3 by 3, and that will be your individual squares. Once you're put onto the mats, you won't be leaving the mats until the end of your class. What we're going to do now, we're going to walk over and go over to an individual training area, and we'll talk through what to do before a class starts, and then we'll also look at what will happen during a class, and more importantly, what role your instructor will be having to make sure you are safe. Come this way guys. Okay guys, as you're walking through, you'll notice that all windows will be left open and our aircon units will be on full blast. This is to keep a nice fresh breeze of air coming through. One of our major changes will be there'll be no music in our classes. This is just to make sure that the instructors don't have to be ridiculously loud, which obviously keeps risk at a minimum as well. On our side of our walls, we've got new bench systems coming in. Basically you'll sit on the open bits. Anything with tape on we don't touch. That keeps it a safe distance, and that's purely for parents. The rest of the parents will sit in the gym. The one thing I will say though parents is once you drop your child off, you'll be asked to sit down. The instructor will then guide your child through what they need to do. Adult members, same again, the instructor will guide you through what you need to do. So coming over to our main training side now. So when you turn up, you have your training bag with you. You'll come to the side of the allocated square that your instructor has given you. You'll take your shoes off. As you take your shoes off, you put them beside your bag, and underneath the bag you'll see there's a silver line, and there's a silver line on every square, and that's where your bag will go. Once you've put your bag down guys, we'll ask you to take your gloves out, and you'll put your gloves just on the front part to start with. You'll have your drink bottle out and your towel out here, and then you'll put your shoes just on top of your bag, so then it keeps it nice and safe and nice and clean for us. What will happen then is an instructor, you will take yourself to your silver mark, and an instructor will come round with some anti-bac, and that's when they'll give your gloves a clean at each station. Then they go away, and as they go away, that's when you know that your gloves are all safe to go to use in class. You'll do your warm-up. So basically all classes will be facing one way, which means if I'm stood on a marker here, the person behind me is literally 3 meters away from me, so we're perfectly safe. Yeah. The warm-up will be done by an instructor at the front. You'll notice that there's a couple of squares which are red. The red squares are the instructor squares. If an instructor is in one of these squares, it means he won't have to wear, or she will have to wear a mask. If the instructors are not in there, you'll realise your instructor will have the necessary safety equipment on to be nice and close to you. So once your class has started, you'll do your warm-up on your square. Drinks will be allocated throughout, so when we say to you grab a quick drink, that's the best time to do it. Your rounds, this is where it's going to be slightly different, especially for the adults. They're going to be 3-minute rounds. Yeah. So you're going to notice you've got your own gym equipment in each corner, and you've got your own pads in each corner. So the first minute and a half, say for example, me here will have my weight, and I'll be doing a set exercise. So for example, for a minute and a half, I'll be holding on to my weight, the instructor will tell you what to do, I'll be moving around, I could be punching out, working our technique. Yeah? During that time, the person in the square on top would be doing pad work with an instructor. Yeah. I will make it perfectly clear, no students will be holding pads for each other, it will be purely an instructor holding pads. It will be one instructor for 2 squares. Each student will have their own individual pads, which once a minute and a half is finished, you will put your weight down, you will put your gloves on, the person in the opposite square will do the opposite, and the instructor will take off your jabbing hooks, move over to the opposite square, and we'll put a fresh pair of jabbing hooks on for that person, and vice versa as the class is going on. So the only person sweat that will ever touch one set of jabbing hooks will be the person who's actually within their square themselves. Yeah. So that leads us on to our instructors, because obviously holding pads is quite close. It's about a metre and a bit where we're close with each other. So every instructor will be wearing a pair of safety goggles and a mask. So one instructor won't have a mask on, and that'll be the one who is doing all the talking, but they won't be going near anyone. Everyone else will have masks, so, here. And they'll also have a pair of safety glasses on, here. So please show your children, because obviously it's a little bit different to what we normally look like. Yeah. So not only will we have a mask and safety glasses on, we'll also have a pair of medical gloves underneath, so that way we are perfectly safe to be nice and close to you. But once again, even still, your pad holding, you'll be on the spot, and you'll be moving your angles, but we will not ever be facing the person in the opposite square. You'll always have their back to them. Yeah. Once you've done your rounds, there'll be rest rounds. When you have your rest round, that's when you come in and grab your drink. What's really important though, guys, is when you finish your exercise with your weight, even if we're tired, we're going to put it back where we find it, because everyone, weights and equipment, top corner, top corner, top corner, top corner, which means it'll be the furthest away from anyone else within that group. Yeah. Once the class is finished, the first row here will get their shoes on, and they will start making their way out, and as they've made their way out, the back row will then be allowed to go. Obviously guys, part of our custom here is that we always go around, shake everyone's hand afterwards. For the short term, that won't be allowed. Yeah, that just won't be allowed for now. No disrespect to any of our students, it is just keeping with rules and guidelines. Once you finish your class, we ask you nicely not to hang around, because one, we'll have another class coming through, but also as well, we need to clean. We need to get on top of everything else, because once you guys go, this will all be steam mopped down, the pads will all be anti-backed, and then we'll be ready to go for our next class. But same again guys, you'll notice it says exit, we've talked about it before. You'll then leave here, walk through, out the far end, onto the car park, where there will be another member of staff guiding you to make sure you are safe. Yeah. One thing I've got to say though guys, please sit with your children and explain to them that once they're in the building, allow the instructors to guide them to where they need to go. Yeah. We'll help them with their gloves, we'll help them make sure their bags are safe and everything's okay. But more importantly guys, we don't want parents coming in and out, and we don't want kids running on and off the mats. Yeah. One thing I'll say in the short term, just for the first week or so, since we're using your instructors holding pads for you, which is going to be great, because obviously we've got some very good pad holders with our instructors, we won't necessarily need to bring our shins and everything else with you. This way we're keeping everything to the minimum within our bag. Yeah. Please make sure you take everything with you though, because if you forget your bag, we will not allow you to come and collect it that day. You'll have to wait until the following morning to come and collect your bag when there's no other classes going on. But apart from that guys, I know it sounds a bit full on. We've dummied some of these lessons through and they've worked really, really well. We're still focusing on our martial arts, we're still focusing on our fitness, and we're still focusing on getting you guys to the best you can. So come along, follow the rules, stay safe, and we'll make sure you enjoy it. Looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow, and onwards guys. Take care.